How much is the healthy weight gain?
Anywhere between 8 to 12 kgs. And as soon as I had the baby, I was back to my original weight. It's not 100% factual that breastfeeding will make you lose it. It did not happen with me.
What to eat during pregnancy? You must eat for two because you need to give them the calories.
This is the biggest myth in the world. You do not need to eat for two. A lot of people say you need to eat sugar and atta and roti. Yes, it's important. Carbs is important.
All the moms out there, if you're breastfeeding, please make sure to not go on restrictive diets.
Sira, which is made out of besan and a lot of sugar and ghee. What I did, I tweaked it. So I used besan and dates, ghee, and I had it, and it was giving me the right amount of supply with the right amount of nutrition. Weight training is what really helped me, and that's something I never did. I was always a yoga and Pilates girl. We need to prioritize our own selves as well, and that's when you can make a healthy and happy home.
Welcome, parents, to another episode of the Modern Indian Parent Podcast, a podcast that is redefining parenting in Indian families. I'm Sanchita Daswani, a pediatric nutritionist, and every week we bring you episodes that are helping you own your modern parenting choices, even if Nani and Dadi don't agree with them. Today's topic on the podcast is something that all of us moms have struggled with at some point, which is weight loss. And especially when it comes to having a baby, one of our biggest struggles is getting back to shape once we've had a baby. And we're so excited to be joined by Ishanka Wahi, who is a Dubai culinary nutrition and holistic wellness coach. She is also an awardee of the 40 Under 40 Award under the Health and Wellness category. She is the visionary behind Eat Clean with Ishanka, and her approach is all about clean eating and holistic living. And as a mom of two, she really focuses on empowering individuals, especially moms, to live a better life, a holistic life. And she is joining us today to talk all about weight loss after having your baby. So let's welcome Ishanka to the podcast. Hi, Ishanka. Welcome to the Modern Indian Parent Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Sanchita. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. And how are you?
I'm good. We've been chatting for a few years now. I have joined your online cooking classes and we work together for your kids' nutrition as well. And today we are here to talk about such an important topic, which is postpartum weight loss. And before we get started, I'd just love to know a little bit more about your journey into clean eating. Is it something you've been doing since you were young? Did it happen recently? Would love to know more.
Okay, I would love to share my story because it was so soul-driven during COVID. I've always been a person who's been healthy, who eats well, who's a foodie, really, and also wants to be a certain weight because I used to love eating food, but then I would also want to be well-maintained and have a good diet. So that's how it all started. And I started posting during COVID. I started posting my recipes online. I started posting my healthy lifestyle online. Then I studied nutrition and gastronomy from Le Cordon Bleu, and it went really well. And then I started coaching people, and it was all soul driven. There was no plan, there was no business model, nothing. My recipes went online, they went viral. Then I started my classes online during COVID. Those were a big hit. That's when we connected. And then I wrote a lot of recipes. Now they're online. Now I have a product line and I coach a lot of people. So it was all very organic and soul driven.
Yeah. And you know what I really appreciate about your post is that you're making clean eating not sound so bad. Because a lot of times we want to eat well, but when we think of diet or eating right, we're like, oh my God, we won't enjoy these foods. So I like that you made sure it's flavorful, it's still interesting. And I think that's why so many people have been able to resonate with it. And, when it comes to postpartum, let's get right into it. Okay. So, now there's this whole thing where we have to bounce back. It's like this thing we have in our head that as soon as we give birth, within few weeks, we need to be back at it. So what is your view on that? Is that actually realistic? I do see some people who do that. So in your view, when it comes to postpartum, how soon is it okay to bounce back? And why is there such an obsession with this?
Exactly. I was just going to tell you that there's a very fine line between being obsessed and just being desperate to go back to your weight and actually succumbing to a healthy lifestyle and doing it in a very, very nutritious way, which is healthy and sustainable, and it's a lifestyle. Now, I cannot put a number on it because everyone's journey is very different. Everyone's pregnancy is very different. The amount of weight they put on is very different. Their deliveries are different, like whether they've had a C-sec or whether they've had a natural birth. So everyone's journey is different. But I do believe that if you're healthy and even your postpartum journey, whether you're breastfeeding or not, what kind of lifestyle do you have? Are you working out or not? Has your doctor even allowed you? So all these factors will determine your weight loss journey. But if you want to be healthy, have that mindset, I think any time between 3 to 6 months is a good time to start getting back into shape. First 3 months, you're so overwhelmed with the new baby. You're breastfeeding 100% if you are. You can't even think of like yourself at that time. I think after 3 to 6 months, that also I'm being very generous. There are a lot of people who can't even get back to their life for a year after because they don't have the help. They don't have, the resources at that time, which is just fine. I think everyone's life is so individual to themselves. They shouldn't compare it and get on any bandwagon, really.
It's so important that you said that 3 to 6 months, because that gives us that grace. I think as women, we don't give ourselves any grace or period of rest. Like I remember that so many moms, they tell us now, they said one of the biggest mistakes we made is that we just snapped back to it as soon as we delivered.
You
We did
can't.
not give our body time to heal. And I think now we're starting to realize that it's okay to take that time for ourselves. So I like that you're saying it doesn't need to be immediate. Our body needs time to recover between 3 to 6 months. So what I want to ask you is, because I have seen this, I have seen where some moms, after they deliver, they look like nothing happened. And there's some moms who take a lot more time. So why is there such a difference, you feel, that some people can just look the same again and some need more time?
First of all, it's how much weight they even put on during their pregnancy. A healthy weight gain is anywhere between 8 to 12 kilos. But there are a lot of people who really start using this time to eat as much as they want, and they put on a lot of weight, which is also not healthy. But that's a topic that we can discuss later, which is prenatal. And if you have put on that kind of weight at that time, then losing so much weight is also going to take you 1 year, 2 years, if you put on anywhere between 20, 25 kgs. But if you have put on a healthy amount of weight which is say 8 to 12 kgs, it's very easy to lose that, because when you deliver, and then you start breastfeeding. And also everyone's journey during breastfeeding is very different. I had put on personally just 8 kgs in both my pregnancies. And as soon as I had the baby, I was actually almost back to my original weight. But when I started breastfeeding is when I started eating a lot of carbs, and I actually put on weight postnatal. So it really depends, because prenatal, I wasn't eating very heavy carb food. And when I started breastfeeding, I needed to lactate. I had to produce more. So it's all about demand and supply and the foods you're eating. And that time you do need the carbs, and you can't even think about, losing weight. And I put on weight after. So when I stopped my breastfeeding journey, which was obviously 2 years because I had 2 babies back to back, that's when I actually could think about losing those 5-6 kgs, which, so it's very personal.
It is personal. And I also feel that because some people say, oh, breastfeeding, you lose weight. But as you're saying, for you, it was the opposite, because you needed to get enough milk. So I think we can say that's generally a myth, that breastfeeding will make you lose weight.
I don't know if it's a myth, but it's not a fact. 100%. It's not 100% factual that breastfeeding will make you lose weight. It did not happen with me. I, in fact, put on weight. And I know a lot of people who put on weight who've actually been really healthy and really fit during their pregnancy. And if they are very determined to breastfeed 100%, without any formula, they actually put on weight. But having said that, if you have a lifestyle which was very heavy on carbs and fats already, and then if you're sustaining that kind of lifestyle even after you've given birth, then probably you may lose weight.
The most important thing is that sustainable living and how you lived a certain way. So when you're in that postpartum period, because you have everyone coming in and telling you need to eat all put ghee, add the jeera, you have a lot of roti, have certain foods. Now, can you tell us, do these actually help? Are they important? What are the important nutrients we need to focus on postpartum?
Postpartum with respect to healing your body, or is it also for breastfeeding? Postpartum has 2 categories.
Sure. Right. So can we talk about both?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, when you are breastfeeding, your focus, and if you're exclusively breastfeeding, the focus is only the baby at that time. Mother doesn't think so much about anything else. I remember all the elders in the family will tell you to eat those laddus and those really heavy, sugary stuff. It's very high on sugar. And I was very certain that I'm not going to eat any of that, and I'm still going to be able to have a decent amount of supply. So I was very clear about that. It was all trial and error. No one was really guiding me. I knew my nutrition, but I didn't know how to increase my supply. But I did it only with nutritious foods. I did not touch sugar even postpartum. So a lot of people say you need to eat sugar and atta and roti. Yes, it's important. Not the sugar part, but gluten at that point is important. Carbs is important.
Yeah.
I was a lot of foods that I minimally eat, like gluten, for example, I was eating a lot of it because I did not want my child to get intolerant to it. Even like dairy, which I have minimally, I was making sure that I have that so that the child gets the nutrients from that and does not get intolerant. So that's also very important for people who think that they want to lose weight, so they'll stop eating gluten and they'll stop having dairy. But it's important to have that if you're breastfeeding, so that your child actually gets those nutrients and does not get intolerant.
Because they need calories, because they are tripling their birth weight in the first year. So if you're breastfeeding and the first year milk is the primary source of nutrition, so they need the carbs, they need the energy, they need the fats, the calcium, the protein. All of that is important. So all the moms out there, if you're breastfeeding, please make sure to not go on restrictive diets.
When a client comes to me who's postpartum, I tell them I can guide you, but you're breastfeeding right now. So don't think that you'll just lose 10 kgs right after joining. I want you to focus your energy right now on the baby, and we can make it. I can tweak your diet in a way where you're not eating unhealthy food. So you're not putting on crazy amounts of weight, but you are losing in a healthy way.
Okay, so I think that would be the way if we're looking at for a mom to heal as well. Let's get to that now. So I think the best way is to obviously limit the refined sugars. It's okay to do the carbs. Anything else that you feel is important in terms of food items?
Healthy carbs, not simple carbs. There are such good ways to eat complex carbs and get the nutrition that we need. So I highly recommend that instead of just eating a big bowl of rice. There are many recipes that I give which are very nutrient dense for the mother and very healing for the body for both mom and child.
Yeah. So even for me, I can't believe I've learned all this in the last few years. I wish I knew this when I was younger, but just even things like sweet potato and just even if you want the bread, go for bread that suits that, sourdough bread. There are other options, right? So it's not like you have to deprive yourself. And I also feel when you're in this postpartum phase, you need to eat to feel a little bit if you feel good, right? If you're eating a wholesome meal, if you're dieting, you're just not in a good mood anyways, and you don't want that vibration for your child also.
And
right?
if you're dieting and restricting your calories and food, you will see that in your supply the same day. It's not even like you'll realize it after 2 days or 3 days. You'll eat a low nutrition meal. In the evening, you won't have any supply. Or at night, if you've skipped your dinner in the morning, you won't have any supply. So you don't want to deprive that as well. That's when priorities make sense.
Yeah. And I remember, I used to say, oh, I eat pizza and I'm getting a lot of milk. So I got excited. But
no,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
So in order to, so for me, I was just getting away with it and I was getting extra milk. But what you're saying is choose the right carbs. Choose the right forms of nutrition so that you can still get the milk, but at the same time, not gain those unnecessary calories, but at the same time, give yourself that leeway.
And what our grandparents used to tell us, there's this thing in Indian culture, which is sira, which is made out of chickpea besan and a lot of sugar and ghee. Now, what I did, I tweaked it. It does help because once I had it with sugar, I did have a lot of supply, but I tweaked it and I used a lot of dates instead. Dates and because chickpeas is really good for your supply. So I used besan and dates and ghee and I had it and it was giving me the right amount of supply with the right amount of nutrition. So tweak your recipes. So if you do feel like eating a pizza because that's your craving, go ahead and eat a pizza. Just make it with better flour and not using refined flour. Use whole grain flours, use oat flour, use quinoa flour, and make it at home. Put as much topping as you want and just make it very healthy and nutritious. So don't deprive yourself.
I think that's why there are people like you out there, because for so many of us, we're like, okay, we want to do it, but then that's why you are there to kind of guide us with these recipes so that it is a bit easier.
Of course.
In that way. I love the idea that you had these tweaks in mind. But I want to ask you, because when you go through this postpartum phase, how can we stay motivated? Because also at times as moms, we're so exhausted. We're like, forget it. Let's just just eat whatever and kind of get through the day because our focus, as you said, is not on ourselves. So, how do we as moms kind of motivate ourselves to continue this journey and actually eat well and during this phase?
I'm going to take a moment and talk about you at this point, because a lot of people think that just because I do nutrition, I would be so good with my child's nutrition as well. That's not like true at all. Of course, the ingredients are very similar. But I always, whoever speaks with me, I always tell them, listen, just go to Sanchita. She's amazing and she knows her stuff. And what she did for my children was so good, because touch wood, God forbid, they eat every kind of food now. They're not allergic to anything. They didn't develop any like insensitivities, and it was so smooth. And you just, like, you were right. You just helped me to get everything out there and introduce them to as many foods possible in the shortest period of time, which is not the traditional way of doing things. And while you were doing that, getting to the question that you asked me, I would use actually the same ingredients and eat the same meals with whatever meal plan that you would do for my child. I would eat the same thing. And it just became so much easier for me. That is very easy to meal plan because you use the same ingredients, and what you suggest for the children, it's so easy for us to make an adult version of that as well. Second is planning your meals, not having junk food and processed foods in your house at all. Just completely eliminating that food family from our homes and having very healthy options sitting on your bedside, so that even if you want to munch on something, it's healthy. I think that really helps me. If there is a bag of chips lying on your, bedside, you are going to end up eating it. Like, you're human. It's normal. But if there are nuts and like healthy desserts and like, date balls and all on your bedside, you'll end up eating that.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's about preparing as moms and also just creating a lifestyle where everyone around the house is kind of on the same page, even our kids. But I guess it's hard for people in India who are also in joint families, and that's happening as well. But I tell the same thing to my clients because they're like, but our kids, how can we give them good food when there's chocolate outside and Dadi is giving them this? I said, look, it's your decision. End of the day, it's your body, it's your children. Now, as a modern Indian parent, we are standing up. We know much better. So I say choose balance.
We really underestimate our dadas and dadis and nanas and nannies. I'll be very honest, because my husband's family comes from a joint family, and they were high carb eaters, and all of them actually slowly have started eating the way I do, and they're loving it. They've it's had such an impact on that side of the family as well. And we underestimate, and we think that they're not gonna, they'll never understand, but they are actually the quickest learners. And it's, anything that actually makes you feel good about your own self, and when you see results, people will follow through. So it's about actually voicing that change, trying to make that change. It may not happen in the first go, but it will happen eventually. They will see the change in themselves.
Yeah. And I think even we were chatting with someone in the other podcast, and they were saying, because they sell like laddus and energy balls. So they were saying actually, because see, so many times the dadis and nannies, why are they giving the chocolate? Because they want that memory. They want that time, right, with the child. But they said, in case if you can replace it with dates, with an energy ball that is more nutritious, but still is a bit sweet, it has that, even they are happy to eat it. The next question I want to ask you, so we've understood about nutrition, eat nourishing foods, the good carbs, we need all of that for the kids. And if you eat the right foods, then you will be able to naturally lose weight as the time goes on. Don't rush into it. Now let's talk about working out. When is it okay? I've heard, like, I remember for my journey, I had a C-section. My kids were born 2 months early. So they said, wait for 6 months. And then for a month, I had to do Pilates, like some like training to strengthen my core. Then they gave me a go ahead. Now, I'd love to hear from you. When can we start working out? And if so, what?
Again, it depends on your birthing story and your, postnatal journey with your doctor. With respect to me, both my deliveries were natural with an unmedicated natural birth. So for me, it was easier to bounce back. So I think after your second routine check, which is 10 weeks, when the doctor checks you, I think 12 weeks is a very safe period. 10 to 12 weeks is a very safe period if you've had a natural birth. The doctor doesn't see anything which is complicated, and there are no major stitches in your body. So that was my journey. I started, I think, within 10 to 12 weeks. I started slow with yoga, walking, swimming. And then I realized after my second baby, yoga, yoga and Pilates wasn't helping me as much. So I started weight training. And weight training is what really, really helped me. Also because I think we're just older now. And that's something I never did. I was always a yoga and Pilates girl. And that really helped me all my life. But it didn't help me after my second child. And your body changes. Your body has like transitioned through so much. So you need to keep experimenting with what works for your body and what doesn't work for your body. In my entire prenatal journey and even postnatal after my first child was all about yoga and Pilates. But second baby, that did not work at all for me for weeks and like a month or two. And then I started weight training and that really impacted me. So you have to keep exploring.
Yeah. Even for me, like I've started strength training because everyone was scaring me, you're losing muscle.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, which is true.
Yeah.
And they say for perimenopause, menopause, you need to focus on that. But I remember after giving birth, they say like, at least do some movement walks, but it all like I had a C-section. So the recovery was longer. But yeah, I think you could say that strength. So for women, you feel that strength training is a great option, right? Even
recently discovered it and I have felt really, really tremendous like changes in my body and it's really worked for my body. And you just need that sort of that muscle. You need that strength to even take care of your children. And I have 2 boys, so I need to like hold them from both my hands. Like I need a lot of like strength now, and that really helps with strength training. I think So for my for my transition period into the postnatal journey, strength training really worked for me, and I know a lot of people that it's worked for. So I would recommend that personally.
Okay, so I want to dive into just a little bit about pregnancy. Because, of course, when you get pregnant, I think there's actually a big gap because a lot of people are confused in terms of what to eat during pregnancy. So one of the main quotes is, oh, you must eat for 2 because you need to give them the calories. So please tell us.
This is the biggest
what
myth.
This is all about.
Can I like shout it out? Like, can I say it with the larger, this is the biggest myth in the world. You do not need to eat for 2, especially in like the first 35 weeks, maybe in the last 2-3 weeks, or, you need to eat a little bit more because the child is growing at such a, massive speed. But no, this is a myth. And the child will derive it from your body, from whatever you need to eat for 1 person. The child is like as small as an olive. You do not need to eat for 2.
Yeah, that's so true because they're not that big, actually.
And they derive it from your bloodstream. They derive the nutrients. They are only taking in the nutrition. They derive the nutrients from your blood. The food is not going into their stomach. That's not how it works during pregnancy. So please eat for 1, eat healthy food, create a healthy lifestyle from now on. You need to do what you were already doing. For example, I was always someone who fasts pretty often. I do intermittent fasting. I was fasting throughout my pregnancy. Now, having said that, that worked for me. I was like very closely in touch with my doctor and telling her my nutrition plan always. It may not work for you. So please just don't follow this blindly. But I used to pull fast even during my pregnancy and it really worked for me. I felt better. The day I was eating all day, I was feeling lethargic. Throughout my pregnancies, I did not even throw up once. Like I was very healthy and I didn't have any nausea, nothing. So please do what works for you and eat very healthy even during your pregnancy. There is nothing. You do not have a free pass to eat whatever you want. Please, ladies, this is not your time to just say, I can eat whatever, I'm pregnant. In fact, you will have so much nausea. You won't feel good. You'll feel lethargic. You won't have the stamina, the energy. Please do not do that. In fact, this is your time to be the most healthy.
I think it's so important. And especially when everyone tells, we tend to fall for it all and we're like, yeah, okay. But no, you're saying it's going to be that PSA announcement.
It is.
Everyone needs. And you had also mentioned about how much is the healthy weight gain. So you said it was around 8 kgs or so that you think is
8
normal?
to 12 kgs. Anywhere between 8 to 12 kgs. Yeah, is normal. 9, 10, 11, 12. But anyway, when it goes to a point of 14, 15 and above, that's not healthy. Your child is going to be 3 to 4, 2.5 to 3.5 kgs at max. Then there's amniotic fluid. And of course, your body stretches a bit. Maximum 8 to 12 kgs is what you need to have. That's a healthy weight gain.
I'll explain my story because basically my entire life, I was really skinny. So I took advantage of that and I just ate whatever I wanted because I wasn't gaining weight. And it was only when I got into my 30s that I realized that, oh my God, I'm putting on weight and I just can't eat everything. And I started learning about nutrition. And that's also why I do what I do, because I don't want my kids and other kids to wait till it's too late. So I feel like when I was pregnant, I lost 10 kg. So I got excited. I'm losing weight. So I took advantage instead of nourishing myself and my kids. I took advantage and I ate whatever. And and that's why my kids actually, they came quite early and they were a bit underweight and all of that. And I realized, oh my God, I wish I had focused on nourishing myself and not just taking advantage of eating whatever I want. So I think I like what you're saying. That's important to have a certain mindset and know that even when you're pregnant, when you deliver, it's about nourishing your body. Is
100%.
that how we can look at
I
it?
always say that. Like when people ask me how many calories can I eat per day, I don't know how to answer that question because calories, what does calories mean? They can be empty calories. So chocolate, sugar has calories, but they're empty calories. What is it nourishing your body? What you're putting inside your body, it should nourish you. It should completely heal you from within. So like when people say, oh, how are you eating so much avocado? It has such high calories, but it is nourishing me. A date, it's nourishing me. So I don't mind those calories. So everything that you eat
Right.
has to make sense to your body where it should be nutritious and very dense.
Okay. When you're pregnant, is there any specific meal that you really enjoyed or you feel that your clients enjoy or any specific food items that you think are really nourishing during pregnancy?
I mean, there's no pregnancy or no pregnancy. Foods that are actually very nourishing for you are really good for you even during your pregnancy. A really good way of getting all amino acids in your body, which is good protein. If you are non-vegetarian, to eat animal protein, having a lot of bone broth is really good for your prenatal, postnatal journey, everything. That I swear by that. All my kids' food is also made in bone broth. There's always bone broth. It's so nutritious. You talk about it so much. I talk about it so much. I think both of us have our versions of the recipe on our pages. So please, everyone should go in for that. Then foods which are high in like vitamins and good fats is very important during your prenatal journey. Eating the right amount of grains is very important. And of course, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fiber is very important.
Also, I want to ask you about fats because obviously recently, and I mean, I still hear this from people, don't put too much fat. Fat will make you fat. And it's so important. Like now we know as women, fat makes up every cell. It helps with digestion. It's for our brain. So can you help us debunk this whole, why is fat actually good for you? And especially for women eating the right fats.
It's so good for your hair, your skin, your nails, cell growth, cell regeneration. It is so essential for organ health, your intestines, your gut lining, everything, It is extremely important. It nourishes you inside and out. The right amount of fat, the good fat, not like processed fat and the fat that you don't need in your life, not that kind of fat, but like good fats like avocado, olives, coconut, nuts, seeds. All these kind of nourishing fats are very good for you. The quantity is very important in this. So you need to speak with a professional to understand what quantities work for you. You can't just have a whole bag of, nuts and a lot of like a whole bottle of olives. But a right amount, a handful is what I always recommend per day. A handful of like good fat is important for you, which includes like, ghee that you're using in your food, the coconut, the nice cold pressed oils we're using, no refined oils, no processed oils.
Okay. Yeah, no, same thing. And what's so great is that so many of my clients, they start using all of this for their baby and they never did it for themselves. And now they're switching. Now they're like, okay, now we are only going to use this oil as a family or make sure we add, like for my kids, I'll add nuts and seeds, I'll add the ghee. And now I start doing that for my food as well. And I feel a difference. And it's nice that unfortunately for so many of us, it was our kids' journey that made us focus on ourselves. But yeah, good fats are super important. And even for your baby as well, they need it for brain growth, for digestion, and all of that. And when it comes to supplements, I just want to ask you about this because I know in pregnancy, we have to take some extra supplements and also support the extra nutrition maybe. So what is your view on supplements during pregnancy and postpartum?
I recommend it. I highly recommend it. There are lots of stuff that we cannot just derive from food or like naturally. It's very important to take supplements, to do your blood work, and supplements with respect to lifestyle also. I highly recommend it. Do your blood work every couple of months to understand what you're deficient in or what's low in your body. Supplement it with food, of course, but also with some supplements. It always works.
Yeah, even for me, like I've been taking supplements and sometimes my friends, they look at me, they're like, why aren't you getting it from food? Like, why are you doing this, putting like outside stuff in your body? And I said, because it's a fact.
Yeah.
Like my blood work is showing no
Yeah.
matter what, my vitamin D is low. I'm low on iron. I need that support, and that's okay.
And that's
So
okay.
I
And
think so many
you
times,
get it from your food.
yeah,
Of course, that should be your primary focus as well. You obviously started with that, but
yeah.
you have to supplement with and this is not rocket science. You can see it on day one of your blood work. Take supplements on the third month. Take do your blood test again, and there will be a massive difference.
And so
Exactly.
I think the whole episode, what I'm really resonating with is that even though this episode is about postpartum and about pregnancy and about, what to eat, from what I'm understanding, it's about that general lifestyle. So even when you're pregnant, you eat the same foods you were eating before if you were eating a nourishing meal. So it's really about us as women standing up and taking that accountability and making changes in our diet, whether we are pregnant or not.
100%. I always say this. This is not a magical 3 months of like, just coming to me and like understanding everything and then going back to your normal life. No, you need to upgrade your normal to this. This is your lifestyle. You need to figure out a way and your life where this is the approach you take towards food. And you develop a better relationship with food. You start eating more intuitively. You understand what works for your body as a lifestyle, not as a 3 month shortcut plan. You can't do that. That doesn't work. No.
I think with us women, sometimes we're so hesitant to do certain things or make certain changes or get that help or just
We're the
do that.
laziest
But
with ourselves. I've realized my mother always used to
yeah,
say this, but now since I'm a mother, everyone else becomes priority and we are the last and we stop focusing on ourselves, our needs, our priorities, which is so wrong. And we should learn from that generations above that we need to prioritize our own selves as well. And that's when you can make a healthy and happy home. Your mental health is the most important when it comes to postpartum and when it comes to your baby, when it comes to yourself. You need to feel good. You need to be happy. Whatever works for you, even if the advice that I have given does not work for you and you're doing the complete opposite and you are happy, just go with that. Because a happy mom is just everything that a mom and a child needs.
percent. And it's people like you out there. Thank you so much for helping all the moms out there and giving us such inspiring content and making it look possible as well. I think when we see other people implementing this in their life, and even for me, when I show other people that look, babies can eat this, they can enjoy food, it gives us that hope. So, yeah, I mean, thank you so much for being here today and for all your wisdom and knowledge. And so we've spoken all about pregnancy, postpartum, and about women's health. And if you'd like to work with Ishanka, we will put the details down below. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Sanchita, for inviting me. And honestly, for being you also, for helping so many of us. Anyone who comes to me, I direct them directly to you. If they've had a new baby, it's like, just get her course and just get her PDFs and you are sorted for life. And it's true. It is very life-changing.
Well, thank you so much for those kind
Mhm.
words. It's really, really sweet. And I'm happy that I'm able to help the moms out there. And thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys for the next episode.
Thank you.